What's up, guys? This is Brave, and I'm here to review a new show added to my roster, and that would be Bel Air. This is season 2, episode 1, and the episode is titled A Fresh Start. So let's go ahead and jump right into this review. Alright, you guys, as we all know, or at least if you watched the previous season, you would know that we ended with Will leaving the Bel Air home because he felt like his family wasn't really family, okay? He was done with Uncle Phil, he was done with Aunt Viv. He still loved his cousins, but at the end of the day, he felt like he needed to leave. So we start this episode off with Will. He is strolling around LA. He's saying what's up to strangers. I'm gonna tell you right now, people don't just do that in LA. I know TV likes to make it seem like everybody's just friendly around here, but please know, if you are in LA, you are not about to be strolling around saying hi, kissing grandmas, saying what's up to babies, or whatever he was out here doing to random strangers. Nonetheless, we learn that he is staying with Jazz. That's what I figured would happen, because where else would Will go? Because he only really knows his family. He knows Lisa, but they were on bad terms. So, of course, he would go ahead and stay with Jazz. He's talking to the family, through text or whatever, but he's not talking to Uncle Phil. He just said hey to everybody else besides Uncle Phil because he feels like he's the one who hurt him the most. Um, we also meet a new character, you guys, JB. Now, I thought JB was trouble when we first saw him, when he came strolling in the restaurant and he gave Will the roll of cash. I said, not to making it look like Will out here, slanging drugs, because we already know that's not really Will's thing. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later, what he's really doing for this money. But I can already tell, JB, it ain't nothing good about to come up out of him. Now, let's go ahead and actually kind of break down some of these characters and what's going on in their life. And you know what? Let's just go ahead and start off with little Ashley. You guys, I think that we're going to see a lot more of Ashley's character in this season. And I'm actually glad about that because I feel like the first season, we didn't really see too much of her. She was kind of here, there, very quiet, but I think they're going to give her some good storylines this season. So it's her birthday. Baby girl don't even want no gifts. She's just like, you know what? I want some people to donate to a charity that I like or something, and she's all good with that. So we actually get a chance to see the original Ashley Banks, played by Tatiana Ali, in this show. I actually love seeing her. I love Tatiana Ali. I will always have a soft spot in my heart for her, and a list of the other girls who were the it girls for black girls in the 90s and 2000s. Nonetheless, she actually plays Ashley's teacher, and she calls Ashley to the front of the class when class is over, and she gives her a book on the Black Panthers. Now, it's this little white chick, this little white girl in a classroom peeping game, okay? She trying to figure out what's going on. Why does Ashley get special privilege? And, Mrs. Hughes, that's her name, Miss Hughes, she's telling Ashley, like, oh, I'll give you extra credit if you do, like, a book report on it, whatever. All right, cool. Later on, we see that Miss Hughes is actually getting in trouble with the other administration, probably because the little white girl decided to go snitch and say, why is Ashley Banks getting special treatment? Now, we see that she's having this discussion, and another teacher or administrator, she sees Ashley noticing the conversation, and she closes the door so that Ashley can't see what's going on. And I feel like we're definitely going to get a good storyline for that. I'm going to be so happy to see Tatiana Ali on multiple episodes, so I am ready for that. Ashley had a party, y'all. Talk about rich, living the life. Baby girl is turning 13 years old. First of all, the only thing she wanted at her birthday party was Will to be there, and her having the amazing big sister that she does have. Hillary did a great job surprising her with her favorite artist, which was Sweetie. Now, y'all, I'm not even gonna lie. I thought it was cute. It's definitely appropriate for the times for her favorite artist to be Sweetie. This girl's 13 years old. I think the writers did a great job on that. And when Sweetie starts singing, though, I said, Sweetie, you are a rapper. You can rap Happy Birthday. You didn't have to sing it, girl. But I guess that adds to the personality as to why people like Sweetie. That was pretty much little Ashley's storyline. Now, there are other things that happen at Ashley's party, but we're going to get to that. I just kind of want to go character by character to, fill out where they are. Now, Carlton, you guys, I think we might like Carlton this season because Carlton has said some things that I said, you know what, sir? I can rock with you on this. So him and Will, they have a great relationship. We see him picking Will up for school. Now he even trying to figure out where Will is getting this money from. And y'all, we might have a possible love interest for Carlton. I like this idea. First things first, it's not Lisa. There is a young lady by the name of Yasmin. She is the president of the BSU, which is the Black Student Union. Oh, yeah. Will and Carlton decided to go visit the Black Student Union. Now, here's the thing. Carlton was not very welcome. There was one guy who was not feeling Carlton. He's like, listen, the last time you were here, you were only here to get our votes. And then after that, you never came back to our meetings. No, nothing, right? Now, Will, which is, I think, is an homage to the original series, you have Will trying to play in between Carlton standing up for what he has to say and trying to make everything seem really cool and be nice to the BSU kids. Love that. Now, Carlton had to voice his opinion. Carlton told them, listen, I understand that we are the Black students at this school, but we're privileged and we don't really be doing nothing. We sitting up in here, we do these meetings, and then what do we do after that? We go home and live our luxury lives, okay? We're not really in the trenches. We're not really helping the community. And I'm just like, first of all, what community? That's another thing. This show just be throwing around the word community often, and I'm just like, no offense, but y'all are in Bel Air. Your community is not the same community as the people who live in South LA, as this show likes to call it, because if you really from LA, you call it South Central, straight up. No one calls it South LA, unless you are watching the news. The news reporters say South LA. Nonetheless, I just find it very interesting. They always try to throw in this connection to like Inglewood, South Central, all these areas, when that is not y'all community. I just want to throw that out there. Nonetheless, back to the show. Little Miss Yasmin, she is feeling Carlton and she actually agrees with him. So I feel like we're going to see something happen, with those two. And you know what? I really feel like I'm going to like Carlton this season because what he said to the students at the BSU, it made all the sense to me. But what I don't want this show to do is treat us the way All American does. Okay, no offense to All American. I loved that show. Well, I love the show. But the way they would always be like Beverly Hills and Crenshaw, as if we had no other places to go, yeah. I don't want them to do that with this show. So I don't want them to randomly start having these kids volunteer in South Central somewhere. Please don't do that. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and move along. You know what? Let me just go ahead and talk about, let's see, who else has a good storyline? Well, all the storylines were good, but oh, you guys, we actually see Jeffrey. So when it comes to Jeffrey, we already know that he no longer works for the Banks family. But here's the thing. Uncle Phil, he's so trifling. He didn't even tell all his kids the same story. One child feels like, oh yeah, he had a family emergency. Oh no, he went on vacation. Oh, he had this and that going on. Nobody knows the truth besides Phil, the wife. No, actually, I don't even think the wife knew. Nobody knew the truth besides Uncle Phil, which is trifling. Okay? So, he actually ends up going to see Will at school, and I'm just like, oh shoot, what if Carlton actually sees them, but Carlton didn't see them talking, and, they just kind of did like a checkup on each other, kind of. And Will says that he actually needed advice, because he wants to do things on his own, and, he's living his life in South LA and all this stuff, and it's like, Will, how old did you just turn last season? Was it 16, 17? Maybe he turned 17 last season. Because he couldn't be 18. Nonetheless, baby boy, you're not grown, you're not an adult, you still need some type of adult supervision. Now, I don't know how old Jazz is supposed to be, but nonetheless, he is not your guardian, so I absolutely agree with Jeffrey that Will should go back home. He also even lets Will know that, yes, your Uncle Phil can be stubborn and all these other things, just like you're being. And I said, yep, that's exactly correct, Jeffrey, because Will and Uncle Phil are quite alike when it comes to the situation because they both feel like they're right and nobody wants to bend. Nobody wants to be the bigger person at this point. Now, as far as when it comes to money, you know, Jeffrey learns that Will is back to his old tricks. Will is doing these street games. He's playing basketball at Venice Beach for money. And it's like, all right, Will, this is the same thing that got you in a situation when you were in Philly. So we can't have another one of those types of situations in LA, even though, you know, your uncle has all these connections. Because, baby boy, we don't have that many opportunities to give you a round two and a second and third, fourth, fifth chance. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it is with Jeffrey. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, Jeffrey actually swung by the house. You know, Viv was so happy to see him because she really wants Jeffrey back working for the family. But her husband is still stubborn. He is still adamant that this is all Jeffrey's fault. Like, no, everybody played a part in why Will left. Stop playing. When it comes down to Jeffrey being there, though, he is a man of his word. He literally admits that what he did was wrong. He took things too far. You know, the issues with his own child, he kind of took that into consideration and he misjudged the situation. But he does tell them, hey, Will is out here. He's at Venice Beach. He's playing these street ball games for money. He's back to his old ways. So y'all might want to check on that. So Viv, of course, is appreciative of the information. However, Phil is like, all right, thanks, bye. I said, Phil, why you so rude? Come on now. This man is giving you valid information and he came to you correct and you still got an attitude? What's the problem, Philip? Now, actually, speaking of the parents, let's talk about them for a little bit because Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv now have new jobs. Well, not exactly new jobs, but they're back to their old ways before we even met them on the show. And what I mean by that is Uncle Phil, he is no longer running for the DA position. I'm going to assume that Lisa's dad got the job. And now he has to go back to his role working at the firm, right? Now, when he goes back to the firm, though, again, talking about this community thing, he's talking to his partner and he's like, oh, you know, because I want to bring in community leaders and I want to do this and I want to do that. And baby boy, his partner was not here for it. He's like, community leaders, what the heck are you talking about? Like, that is not exactly how we wanted this to go. And let's just ease you back in. And if we're being honest, yet again, what community leaders are y'all talking about? Again, this circles back to what I've been saying. I need for these TV shows to stop putting these black people in these high positions, living in Bel Air, Beverly Hills, all these places, and then you want to reach down to Inglewood and find your way to Compton and find your way to South Central, and then try to make it seem like we're really bridging a gap between the two. Like, I can understand maybe if, you know, this was a affluent family that lived in like the Baldwin Hills area because it would make sense to reach over to Inglewood. But it doesn't really make sense in terms of someone living this lifestyle in Bel Air to slide on down to like Watts and be like, oh, let's go ahead and help the community, unless it's like a holiday and they're trying to give out turkeys. But nonetheless, I do feel like there is ways that we could possibly do it. For example, if Phil was to say like, oh, if we were to take on like a few pro bono cases that affect people in the community or something like that, that is going to make more sense than for him to be like, we're going to bring in community leaders and we're just going to start hiring people. Like, whoa, 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 buddy, slow your roll. And speaking of slowing your roll, poor Viv, because we see Viv, you know, she has taken a position with Reed's company, and she actually is doing an interview, and they're asking her, like, you know, what her ideas are for the company, all this stuff, right? And she's giving great answers about how, you know, they're actually looking for new talent. all this stuff. And the lady's like, well, that's not really what Reed said because he wants to focus on people who are already established, all this stuff. She's like, no, we want to focus on this and that. Baby, when she read that article, they didn't even have no quotes from her. Everything was about Reed and what Reed feels and what he thinks. So we are going to see if Aunt Viv is actually going to like this new position in her life on these next coming episodes. And I am excited about that because I don't know. There's something about Reed that I don't really trust, but we'll see what happens this season. All right, now let's go ahead and slide on over to Miss Hillary Banks. So let's just go ahead and get a little update. Baby girl is out of her contract with Kylo because Ivy was able to buy his house or whatever, and he was behind on payments, all types of drama. But now the house consists of Ivy, Hillary, as well as two other young ladies who are supposed to be influencers. So when it comes to the house, here's the thing. Ivy has her way of running things, and Hillary, she actually has another idea. So she feels like this is a partnership, right? But Ivy, on the other hand, she feels like she's up here, and then Hillary is just supposed to be, the manager of things. AKA, Ivy is the face, and you're doing all the rest of the work. So Ivy actually has Hillary let the guys know, those two obnoxious twin brothers, they were still trying to be at the house. Hillary had to let them know that they don't live there anymore. They got to find somewhere to go. And then when it comes down to Ivy, she is only here to promote her business, okay? She has some new drink line and she is here for promotion and how Ivy's brand can be bigger. I mean, she even had a booth set up at Ashley's birthday party. And at that point, that is where Hillary had to let her know, like, girl, this is not working. This is a partnership and we are equals. So hopefully at some point, Ivy will catch the hint, but we'll see. Now, let's talk about Miss Hillary's love life, okay? Because baby girl, she's seeing Jazz. But she's seeing him on the lowest of the low, okay? Keeping it super low ski because she doesn't want anyone to know. Now, one thing that I thought was pretty cool that we learned about Jazz, number one, was that Jazz was Muslim. Did not see that coming. Secondly, Jazz, he actually is like, okay, so at Ashley's birthday party, we can step out together because he wants it to be known that he's dating Hillary. However, Hillary is like, no, not right now. It's not really the time. I don't think that's a good idea. So at this point, he's like, all right, cool. So I'm going to keep my options open. She can do her thing. It is what it is, right? Oh, but baby, let me tell you about little Miss Ivy. Ivy happened to, see Jazz and was like, hey, ain't that your cousin friend, Hillary? She was like, yeah, that's my cousin friend or whatever. She's like, is he seeing anybody? She's like, yeah, I think so. But then she had to be like, oh, no, I don't think so. Because, she don't want her friend to know that she's dating him or seeing him, whatever. And Ivy takes it upon herself to be like, well, guess what? I'm about to get chose tonight because baby girl was all up on Jazz the entire time while they were on the boat, okay, on this fancy yacht. And one thing that I will say is that even though, Hillary was trying to hide it, baby, it was written all over her face that she was so pissed off that Ivy was all up on her man. Like, it literally got to the point where Will had to be like, girl, fix your face. And clearly, that's your man. You need to go ahead and go claim him. So, at the end of the night, Jazz ends up helping them bring some stuff back home because, like I said, Ivy had a whole booth set up at the yacht. So, of course, they had, to bring the props home or whatever. So, he's helping them, and next thing you know, Ivy's thanking him, and she goes in for a kiss. Baby Hillary had to slow it up. Wait a second, that's my man. My man, my man, my man. You need to go ahead and back up and find your own. And Ivy was like, dang girl, I didn't know. How come you didn't say nothing? And that is when Hillary had to go ahead and express her true feelings. And I'm like, yes, I'm so glad that we did not drag this out this season. I am so happy about that. Now, I don't know how long we're going to have Jazz and Hillary actually date. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if they're going to have like an on and off relationship. We will see what happens in season 2. But I like Hillary and Jazz together. I really do. This is so different than the original storyline because I feel like we went seasons with Hillary always having somebody else, even though Jazz always liked her. Because remember, what was the one guy, Trevor? Remember, she was in love with Trevor. So we didn't get a Trevor on this show, but on the previews, we did see a clip of a guy who's supposed to be Hillary's ex. So y'all, we gonna see. We gonna see what happens. Now, let's go ahead and talk about Will, you guys. Will. So like I said, baby boy's out here doing these street ball games. He's living in South Central and he's really just trying to figure out how he can do everything on his own. One thing that I want to touch on real quick is the storyline with him and Lisa. Oh my gosh, you guys. Poor Lisa. All Lisa wants to do is have a conversation with him to where they can both express that, things went left, let's work it out. She wants that. However, she can't get it. When she tried to have a conversation with him at school, some white kid walks in and he's like talking about how he got on some fresh sneakers and that my opportunity was taken away. Then she tries to have a conversation with him again when they're on the boat, right? And unfortunately, Uncle Phil comes up. And that conversation definitely needs to be had more than her conversation with Will. Again, opportunity taken away. Baby girl finally has the conversation with Will. And Will tells her, your dad never liked me, so I'm not about to try to fight with that. Us being in a relationship, it ain't really working. So I think that we just need a break. Now, she wanted to tell this boy that she loved him. She wanted to tell him that they can make it work, all this stuff, and baby girl's feelings were hurt. Okay? Now, hopefully we will see her back in the dating pool. And I don't mean she got to be dating Will or Carlton. I would like to see Lisa date somebody else, But guess who is still out here about to play with the options, okay? Will. Y'all. Okay. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. So, like I said, baby boy's been street balling, right? So his homie JB called him like, hey, yo, it's a game about to happen at Venice. If you trying to meet Doc, then you need to go ahead and pull up. Keep in mind, he's supposed to be on his way to Ashley's party. Oh, and also, who is Doc? You may be wondering. Doc is the guy who has been funding Will's lifestyle. And what I mean by that is whenever him and JB, I guess they play these street ball games, this man must be betting or something that is funding them. It's giving them some type of money. I'm not really sure how that goes. I feel like maybe I need to go back and watch White Man Can't Jump and figure out how they was making money from it. I don't know. Nonetheless, this is how Will's making his money. According to JB, this guy Doc, he supposedly helps, young boys, help them get into the NBA and he got all these connections and all this stuff, right? All right, cool. Jazz and Will pull up to the game, right? Jazz sees the man Doc. I'm sorry, not Jazz, Will. Will sees Doc. He go over there trying to introduce himself. The man was like, yeah, all right, cool. But unless you about to play, like, I don't really need to talk to you because I ain't really trying to add nobody to my roster. None of that, right? All right, cool. No, I'm sorry. He didn't say that yet. He just basically told Will that he would have to play, for him to even pay attention to him. So Will, he feel defeated. He go sit down on a bench. Oh, and who does he see? It's a little roughly fluffy dog or whatever who's just staring at Will. Now, who is the owner of this dog? Oh, there is a beautiful young lady who has bamboo earrings. You can tell she got a little hood in her for sure. And she's like, well, listen, if you want Doc attention, then you need to go ahead and show him, what you got on this court. So there was a chance. Will took it. Some guy named Big Dre or whatever. It's this really big guy who Will had to play against. Will, of course, hoops him up. and he wins. Now, Will again is trying to get the attention of this man Doc. At the end of the game, Doc is impressed. However, he's like, well, I'm not putting nobody else on my roster. So basically, Will feels a little bit defeated. Now, Jazz is telling him, like, hey, yo, we got to go to Ashley's party. And we actually get the introduction of who this young lady was, you guys. And who is it? Jackie. Now, if y'all recall, though, I could have swore on the last season Will made reference to a person named Jackie in Philly. But I guess they had to figure out a way to bring that character to LA, and that's where we are here. So Jackie will now be a girl probably from South Central, somewhere like that, and she's probably going to be another love interest for Will. And I'm here for it because Jackie was actually one of my favorite characters on the original Fresh Prince of Bel Air. So hopefully this girl definitely brings that same energy that Tyra Banks brought to that role in the 90s. And I'm excited for it because I really want to see the chemistry between Jackie and Will's character. But we'll see where that storyline goes. Now, on to Will. He is racing against the clock, him and Jazz, because they have to make it to Ashley's birthday party. So they literally get there right when the boat is about to leave, and Ashley is so excited that her cousin is there because, again, that's all this little girl wanted for her birthday was to see her cousin Will and for him to be at her birthday party. Cool. Now, I was kind of pissed off about this, y'all. Why did Will get that little girl that journal? Why did he get Ashley that journal, y'all? And I was just like, this $10 journal that you got her while you out here making all this money playing street ball? Really, Will? Like, this couldn't come with, like, I don't know, a new iPad or something? Nonetheless, Will is at the party. He's making his way around the room. However, who is he not speaking to? Uncle Phil. Now, as you already know, I mentioned, Uncle Phil had to be the person to say, let's have a conversation. So they do end up having a conversation. It was a really good conversation where, there is accountability for sure taken on Uncle Phil's side, which I'm surprised because it definitely seemed like that man can hold a grudge. And at the end of that, they agree that will be coming back home. I was quite excited about that because I did not want to have a storyline where Will is over here living in South Central until like episode 4 or 5, and then he finally come back home. Yeah, let's not drag this out. According to the storyline, it's already been 2 weeks. That's definitely enough time for him to take a break from the family and then come right on back home. We actually end this episode though with again Will coming back home. Everybody's happy that he's gonna be there, and then also we see Doc or whatever. Now he actually made a call to Will, basically saying that he was impressed with him or whatever, and how he may take him on as a person of interest, or he's going to add him to his roster, whatever that means. And the reason why I say whatever that means is because when they get off the phone, who is sitting right there? Oh, JB. I told y'all, we couldn't trust him. We couldn't trust him when we met him. JB is sitting there like, oh yeah, see, I told you that you should go ahead and look into him. And the guy's like, oh yeah, for sure. Because he's peeped that Will can play ball and all that. But on top of that, he knows who his uncle is. He has looked up who Will Smith's family is. I said, oh no, dog. Here we go again, Will. This man means trouble. Him and JB. Don't trust these people. He's about to probably try to extort your family. But y'all, that is where the episode left off. I think this is going to be a really good season of Bel Air. I will be reviewing every episode. And let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Did you like it? What are your hopes for season 2? Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will talk to y'all in the next one. Bye, guys.